Hello, welcome to Faith and Autism with Cornelia. I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Woo! Merry Christmas! Yeah, y'all! So, hello, welcome to Faith and Autism with Cornelia. My name is Cornelia. Today at Faith and Autism, we take a real, relatable, and raw approach to Christianity and the challenges we face. Today, I'm gonna be talking about imposter syndrome. It might be, some people might know what it is, might not. So I'm gonna read the Wikipedia definition of what imposter syndrome is. It is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, accomplishment, and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Why I want to talk about it specifically today is because I noticed that I struggled with it greatly. That was even one of the reasons why I felt unworthy, I guess, for lack of better terms. I felt unworthy to even start this channel. I was telling myself, what do I know about autism? Am I an expert in autism? What gives me the right to talk about autism? Who made me the moral authority, like the voice to speak out about this issue, especially in the Christendom? One of the biggest things I struggled with it is because it's not something that is easily received, because we are so used to the status quo, and me doing that disrupts what some people have believed for most of their lives as Christians. So why I felt like that was the topic to talk about was because a lot of the time we don't get started on something because we feel we doubt ourselves. We're like, we think of ourselves less than we are because we feel like we're not equipped enough to talk about an issue. I have another video where I talked about why I started, and I'm gonna post it right there. You can kind of get a background of why I started talking about it. What I want to focus on this one here is the getting started part. Imposter syndrome will have you crippled. It will make you feeling like you're incompetent, you're not worthy to talk about whatever subject you want to talk about. For example, as a nurse, I remember being a new nurse makes you feel like you know absolutely nothing. Somebody's gonna come and fire you because you're not a nurse. But the thing is, that's when I started realizing, I'm like, whoa, deal with it. We have to address this spiritually and physically, because this is not me. I know I went to school, I know I was trained to do what I do. And the worst part was after I came back from maternity leave. I took a 1.5 years maternity leave. In Canada you can take up to 18 months, and I took all of the 18 months. You best believe I did. And when it was time for me to come back, oh my god, I reached out to my friend that I knew, that I went to school with, that had to go back after maternity leave. I was like, how did you do it? Because I feel like I forgot everything that I've ever been taught. I feel like I'm not a nurse. I don't know. I feel like I'm a fraud. I feel like I'm gonna just be fired tomorrow because I don't know what I'm doing. Very hard to think about, but when you get in there, you're gonna find your groove. You're gonna find your way back to doing what you like. You're gonna remember all the stuff that you stuck, and it wasn't hard. It really wasn't. I was able to get back onto the swing of things and everything. How does this relate to what to doing? You are not the person that is qualified to talk about this subject. So that was one of my biggest things. And in my subsequent video, I'm gonna talk to you about what happened, what's one of the biggest lessons that I learned this year, and why I'm gonna kind of talk to you about why I was away, and one of the biggest lessons that I learned. And don't doubt it. That's the big thing that I want to take. There's this thing that one says, God does call the qualified, but the qualified call. So whatever it is that God has put in your heart to do, whatever it is that's been by, you don't even know, like, am I sure that it's God that's put it in my mind? Has it not been able to go? Like, have you tried to ignore it for years, for months, for weeks, and it's not going? How about you give it a try? Even if you feel like you are not qualified, try study all the people that God used mightily in the Bible. They were not the best choices according to men, but they were the best that God wanted. They were those God wanted to use for the purpose that he wanted to. So let's not doubt ourselves. Let's continue believing God. Let's do the things that he told us to do. Let's do the work. Let's roll up our sleeves as God told us this year. Let's do this. Where we have December 18, 2020. We have a few days left in 2020. You can do it. Even if you can accomplish it this year, you can always, whatever it is that you weren't able to do this year, it's okay. If all you did this pandemic was survive, it's okay. If what you did this pandemic is thrive and pivot and break barriers, all power. Just pick up the mantle and go. Do those things. Don't doubt yourself. Trust God along the way. So that is all I had for you today. And if you have any questions, maybe things that I haven't spoken about, like I said, imposter syndrome it encompasses a lot of things. So I'm not saying you got it. I'm just telling you what I experienced and how I was able to overcome it by just doing the thing that God told me to do, and I went about it, and I spoke that word like nobody. I was not letting those voices inside control me. The voices of doubt, the voices of fear, the voices that told me that I don't know what I'm. In fact, I don't know everything. It's just it. Paul said, not part. Even the experts of experts only knows in part. Let's not get, nobody knows that. There's always room for improvement. There's always room to learn. So don't look at yourself like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm talking about. Guess what? Many of us started not knowing what we're talking about. Many of us didn't know how to even start putting a camera in front of us and start videoing ourselves and to just put our stuff out there. Many of us doubted ourselves that how am I supposed to, why do I put my life out there? Because as Christians, we're taught to hide time to do news. So yeah, thank you very much for stopping by my channel again. Thank you for listening to me, and there's always a lot of resources to learn more about what I talked about, the imposter syndrome, and just know that you're an overcomer no matter what. All of those words, all of those things, what we are, the thing about why I bring it up is so that you can know what you are fighting, because the enemy, you know, you can fight it with its name. Like, you will put the words, you will put a name to the thing, and then you're like, we are fighting you today and we are winners. That's what it is. That's what I'm bringing it up, and that's what we are. Just remember that no matter what, Jesus reigns. See you next time.